The PWI Best Wrestlers of the Year list has finally come out, and as always, it's just an excuse for everybody to get mad because they don't agree with somebody else's opinion. How on earth can Kenny Omega only be number 5? Boo and hiss. Let's not worry about that though, because if we do, we could worry about that forever. And let's just focus on who was chosen as number 1 this year. And can you believe it? It's none other than the IWGP champion, Okada. And amazingly, he's the first ever Japanese wrestler to do that. How is he the first one? How has it taken this long? Do you know how many good Japanese wrestlers there's been? That's crazy. He deserves to be there too, and he really does. Why? Here's why. Now, it's only fair to start off this video by letting you know a little coincidence that's happened in life, because that stuff just happens sometimes. When it does, we should talk about it. But issue number 6 of What Culture's Wrestling Mag, which you can get right now from shop.whatculture.com, actually has a list of the best 100 wrestlers in the world today, and guess who's on the cover? By Jove, it's Okada. So you should go and buy your copy right now so you can read another list. And you know what to do. Go online, shake your fist around. I can't believe they did this and all that. So go and do it. Because I, Simon from What Culture, said so. But yeah, after what has to be considered one of the best ever years for a professional wrestler ever, Okada has topped all that off by topping this list. If we break it all down, of course he did. He's just been that good. It's not even just on his matches, which I know sounds a little bit weird. I mean, he's incredible in the ring and he can do things that other people simply can't. But it's how he adapts to his opponents, or at least what he does when he's in there with different individuals, where he truly starts to shine. He's got something that not a lot of other people do. Namely, he's got an ability to absolutely adapt to regardless who he's in the ring with. Like, it really doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Whoever is standing across the squared circle from him, he knows what to do in order to get the best match out of them, but to make sure that he still looks badass as well. I mean, how do you do that? Where do you even begin? How are you able to shift around that much? He's like a wrestling chameleon. And you've seen chameleons, they're weird. You'll be looking at them, and then all of a sudden they do their chameleoning, which is not a word, and they're gone. Of course, Okada doesn't disappear, but he does morph. Like a Power Ranger. The best comparison I could give, even though it's wildly unfair, is to bring somebody like Ric Flair into the equation. Now, Ric Flair is obviously one of the best, if not the best pro wrestler of all time, because again, you could put him in there with anybody and he'd have a good match. You could put Ric Flair in the ring with a fish and you come away going, geez, that fish can work. It may be fair, however, to say that when Flair did this, he always wrestled a Ric Flair match. And that's not a criticism. In fact, it was incredible that he was able to do this in the first place. Again, it's not something that everybody can do. You've got to have it like built inside of you. You just got to know how to pull this stuff off. So even if you did put him in there against somebody who was rubbish, Ric Flair had the tools and he had the brain to go, well, I know what works, so I'm going to grab this person and make sure they come along for the ride. Okada, at least for my money, however, is different. He goes the opposite way. He knows what he's good at, but he also knows what the other guy is good at. So he thinks to himself, okay, I can see what they need to do to shine, and I'm going to make sure that I let them shine. And then he pulls it off, and it doesn't seem weird. And even though he had a completely different match to the one he had before, it's still amazing. Then you start realizing you're talking this weird cadence, but I'm just amazed by it. When you take a step back and think about it, Okada is just frankly amazing. It's why you can watch his classics with Omega and then watch a completely different New Japan match and both think they're incredible, even though they're utterly different. That's not usually how it works. Take somebody like Triple H. Now, I'm not saying Triple H is in his league, but Triple H always has the Triple H match, and some are good and some are bad. Okada just does whatever he wants, and everyone is 2 thumbs up. And it's like his oxygen. He just has an innate ability to do it, he just needs it, and he just feels it. And I guess that's what pro wrestling's all about, right? Everyone says that, you gotta feel it, and just go with your gut. I guess that's what he does. Naturally, he carries himself like a star too, and he has a wicked arsenal that always looks awesome. But ironically, his biggest selling point could be his selling. Straight up, nobody does it better. And I mean that. When I say no one, I mean no one. No one is selling better today in 2017 than Okada. It's almost a bit of a lost art in modern day pro wrestling, but trying to get a crowd to believe that you are having your ass whooped and that you're a dude in peril is really important, especially when you're trying to endear yourself to said crowd. That just works. They feel sorry for you. They've got sympathy. And Okada does that night in, night out. And to be honest with you, I've never seen a match of his where I don't believe he's getting absolutely pulverized. That just makes it so easy to buy in. Sure, you know it's an illusion, but what does a good magician do? They make you forget, or at least make you question what you're seeing. This goes a step higher as well, because he's able to do this even with a massive language barrier in a way. Now, as you can imagine, me being able to talk to you in English and vice versa means you can connect with me a bit more. And it's the same with a Japanese wrestler. If you're a Japanese wrestling fan and a Japanese wrestler is talking to you in Japanese, it's much easier to have an emotional connection there, because you know it's your language. If I started talking in, I don't know, Polish, all of a sudden you'd be like, well, now I don't understand Simon as much unless you speak Polish. I mean, it's not the only way to connect with people, but it helps. Language is a really powerful tool. Okada almost circumvents that entirely though. His body language is so good and the stories he tells in the ring are so easy to understand and so compelling. I don't care what he says before a match or after a match or when he's at home on the toilet. It doesn't make a difference. I have a damn good idea of him as a human being and a character just from what he did in the ring, and that's a skill I can't even fathom. How'd you come up with that? How'd you pull that off? It's like having a conversation, but you're only using headlocks and slams, and I don't know for sure, but I don't think that's a confirmed language yet. That's why he has topped this list, however, and why he may continue to top it for years to come. He's in great shape, he only seems to be getting better, doesn't seem to be dealing with too many injuries. He's a superstar straight up, and he has major crossover appeal that not many people do. And of course, you're more than welcome to debate this again. That's what these lists are all about, so you can run around going, what? This person is there, but what about this guy? And where's that dude? As a lot of people did when they also noticed that Roman Reigns was in the top 10. But I'll tell you, man, Roman Reigns deserves to be in that list. If you take a step back and ignore all the hooey around Roman Reigns, he is very good. And sure, he doesn't tick all the boxes, and he's not the finished article, but in context, it's a good pro wrestler. It doesn't mean you have to like him, of course. But he has got something. He's no Okada though, and that's why the New Japan champ is tearing up the PWI list, as well as What Cultures as well. That stuff doesn't just happen. People don't do that stuff for fun or because it's a big lol. They do it because it's right, and they do it because that guy is amazing. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Okada and the PWI list and the What Culture list. Like, share, and subscribe. Head on over to whatculture.com and read some more articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter at What Culture WWE. I'm Simon from What Culture, and who would I put at number one as my list? Cody Rhodes. Because Cody Rhodes didn't even make the top 500, I don't think, and that's ridiculous. You've done really well, Cody Rhodes. Good for you. Keep kicking ass.